What's up, guys? We're in Miami right now. We're shooting on the Insta360 Flow today. Let's see what we can do with it. Literally, I can make that work. Oh, you know what? I can. I have this thing.
Long time, we not no nice time, so we decide to go and to the club tonight. With the queen by my side and the spliff I like the stress. One love to the dancing crew. Big up every crowd, them must say we have followed show. Respect the selector, them MCs and players of instruments. Bass it up, but we not looking for no trouble. Just a release from the struggle and we irate. Place getting lively, all the faces them be smiling. We not deal without the folly and we irate. Selector, all I pull up. Tune it a bit, but repeat non-stop. Vibe them overflow, you don't know. Just how the thing is going. Rude boy rocking on the place. Girl never wind up them waist. Vibe them overflow, you don't know. Just how the thing is going. Yes, we do give thanks when we go out dance. You know we outside, we are living up. You know we live it up.
This is the Insta360 Flow, and honestly, I had way more fun shooting on this than I thought I would. This thing is an absolute beast. It's a 3-axis phone stabilizer that literally fits in your pocket, and I can attest to that because I walked around with this thing in my pocket for like 2 weeks straight. It makes phone footage look cinematic and professional, which is insane. I never in a million years would have thought I'd be saying that because it's iPhone footage, but I was actually super impressed with the result it gave. Stabilizers are a pain, and if you're familiar with large DSLR stabilizers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're expensive, they're clunky, they're awkwardly shaped. There's a million tiny little moving pieces that you constantly have to keep track of. The balancing process is so annoying, it's so time consuming. You always it never works the first time. This thing is actually the complete opposite of that. Instead of having to tighten screws, the Flow comes with this little magnetic piece that goes in the back of any generic smartphone. It just attaches straight to the gimbal, and then it just flips up. And you're good to go. I'm not even exaggerating. This is one of the easiest tools I've gotten the chance to work with because it's so simple. Now, unlike other stabilizers, the Flow is really cool because it links directly to your smartphone through the app. That integration is really cool because it allows you to use features that other stabilizers can't deliver, such as in-camera tracking and other effects that you just can't really get anywhere else. Personally, I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to stuff like this, so my favorite features aren't in the app, but they're actually on the outside of the gimbal itself. The Flow comes equipped with this super sick touch dial that allows you to switch between the different gimbal modes. It comes with auto mode, which is an automated adaptive stabilization experience. Follow mode, which is designed for dynamic shots where the camera follows the subject or movement. Pan follow, which is a mode useful when you want to capture smooth, horizontal, or vertical panning shots. And FPV mode, which is what I'm using mostly here, that gives you this cool first-person point of view effect. The gimbal also has a trigger on the back of the handle that lets you quickly swap between a selfie and normal shooting mode, as well as a super accessible zoom dial that lets you punch in without needing to touch your phone screen. Recently, I've been a big fan of these fast-paced Hyperlapse videos that I've been seeing where people are doing like AI replacements and all sorts of crazy tracking stuff, and I wanted to see if this phone stabilizer could do the exact same thing. The results were actually crazy. A lot of the time I didn't even need to track and post. This thing just holds a focal point so well. It was actually kind of astounding to me. So I thought I'd do a quick tutorial on how I shot all this on my phone and also go through some of the behind the scenes stuff, how I edit it and process it later in post. It's super simple, anyone can do it, and once you have the basics of this, you can go and add your own creative flair to it to create something really sick. Let's get into it. Super cool if I did like a hand transition. Oh! So I want to keep this relatively straightforward because I could go into depth on this, but this video would take 15 minutes and we don't have time for that right now. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the step-by-step process on how to do this from shooting to editing. To start with this effect, you want to shoot in FPV mode and you want to find a subject to focus on. So for this example, I'm using this graffiti skull that we found in Miami that I thought looked pretty cool. Now, the way you shoot does matter. You want to keep your subject in focus in the center of your screen the whole time. That's the most important part of all this, but your movement does make this editing process a little bit easier depending on how you do it. For me, I like using slow, methodical movements, maybe walking into my subject, walking out, kind of arcing around left and right. Totally up to you. Experiment with different stuff, but this is how I like to do it. Kind of like this, making sure I'm keeping that subject in focus. Once you have your shots, open it up in Davinci Resolve. This is a good way to learn if you haven't used this before. And we're going to make this super simple. With your clip in DaVinci, you're going to press Command or Control R, and you're going to open up your speed graph. Then find a point on your clip where you really want the speed to speed up and slow down. So for me, I like the skull right here. I want it to speed up and then slow down right here. So I'm gonna add a speed point at this point. I'm gonna click on the side here where I have this blue dashed line, and I'm gonna drag it in to increase the speed. You can see it kind of increasing here at the bottom of my screen. I'm gonna hit something like 1,000. I think that works really well. So now we're already left with this super cool effect where it looks like it's speeding into it and slowing down so we can see our subject. Let's just keep it like this. Essentially, this style is just a bunch of these clips kind of piled on top of each other. So as long as you can do something as simple as this, you're set. Like, this is debatably the hardest part. Now, if you wanted to take this a step further, you can right click your clip and you can click retime curve, and then you can see this little point, this little keyframe right here where the speed changes. Select that, press this little curve button, and it's going to add a nice little dip to your graph. What that does is that just makes the speed change a little bit smoother so it doesn't look as jittery and sharp. So this is what you're left with, and that looks sick. Now what you're going to do is right click your clip, click new fusion clip, and then open up the fusion tab. To keep things simple, you're going to click on media in 1, press shift plus space, type in planar tracker, and press enter. Then what you'll do is go over to the inspector window, change motion type from perspective to translation, draw a little window around the subject that you want to track. For me, it's this cool looking skull. Then you're going to press set, and you're going to press track to end, and this is what you're going to get. Davinci is going to auto track all the points in space for you. Then it's literally as simple as this. Go up to operation mode, change track to steady, and this is what you're going to be left with. Now you can see it's hyper smooth, like buttery smooth, like much smoother than it was before, even though it was pretty smooth to begin with. If you were doing this handheld, it would not be that easy, so you can thank the Flow for that. But now you see that you have these like annoying dashed lines on the side of it. Here's how we get rid of those. We're going to press shift space again on planar tracker and type in transform, and we're going to choose transform XF. Press enter. Then what you're going to do is scrub to the beginning of your clip. You're going to go over to the inspector and add keyframes at all of these points, whatever you think you're going to be manipulating later. Then you're going to go to the point where you start seeing this like really annoying, weird dashed line, like kind of where it starts. Then all you'll do is reposition your clip so that it fits in your frame, and that you don't have this annoying line. And again, we're focused on the skull, so I'm going to increase the size a little bit, and then I can move it over a little bit so that it's centered. So this looks a little bit better. So now if I scrub through the clip, you're going to start seeing that, oh, that dashed line is starting to go away and it's starting to look a little smoother. Now, you still have these dashes on the side. That's fine. We can fix that. We can go to the beginning of the clip and just scale in a teensy tiny bit. And now look at that. No more bars. This looks sick. I mean, you've successfully stabilized your Insta360 Flow footage, which is super cool. The fact that you can even do this on a phone stabilizer is mind-blowing. Now that you know how to do the basics of this, you can add as much crazy stuff as you want. You can make more complicated speed ramps. You could add AI replacements or all sorts of crazy things. The basis is what's important here, and all of that and more can be done on the Insta360 Flow. Thanks for watching. I'm going to do another cool trick.